For some reason, the last few months, I've been feeling pretty nostalgic for Trico. I guess Sceptile as well. But every time I listen to like Pokemon background music throughout the day because it kind of just, it's like relaxing and kind of cozy, you know? And there's always this one part of this mix where like, I just thought about Trico like every time. I don't know why. Something about Trico in the anime, it would always pop up and I'd be like, yeah, Trico's a pretty cool Pokemon. Like I should probably build one. So I finally got around to building a Trico, or I guess building a Sceptile. And we do have, I guess, a couple hours under at least my belt with Sceptile in the battle frontier. So someone recommended this one build, and this is kind of what I went with. But it's a Sceptile with the move pool like Thunder Punch, Dragon Claw, Crunch, and Leaf Blade. All of these are special attacking in this game, which is great. And Sceptile has very high speed and very high special attack. So all around, Sceptile is a great sweeper. For the team that I'm currently putting this on, we have Lapras and Steelix. I love those Pokemon, and I think they complement each other very well. In the third slot is kind of more of like a variable slot, like we had Aggron. I don't even know at this point the other Pokemon that we've been using, because we've been like training so many. But Lapras and Steelix, they're great Pokemon, don't get me wrong, but they lack certain things, and I think Sceptile handles those things that they lack pretty well. Like having the move Leaf Blade can handle a lot of things that both against Steelix and Lapras can't handle. But anyway, Sceptile is pretty cool. I kind of wanted to. This will probably be another build in the future, but Sceptile can learn Leech Seed as well. And definitely Sceptile is not the best Pokemon. I would say the best Leech Seeding Pokemon, maybe specific, because you got things like Ludicolo, Venusaur, and Meganium. All of those are a lot tankier, and I would think a lot better at that type of build. But Sceptile is very fast, so it has that edge where it could probably plant like that Leech Seed a little bit quicker, and then you can use things like Protect or Detect. And I guess I feel like there's some good strategy there with the speed, but I think all around it's probably not the best Pokemon for the Leech Seed. But I have it on my list of things that I kind of want to do anyway. I think it'd be kind of fun. But yeah, I do want to try like a Venusaur build with that too. Just so tanky. The Meganium and Ludicolo probably objectively, like we're not talking about favorites or anything, objectively is probably the better option. But Meganium ain't Trico. So kind of getting back to the build that someone recommended. It's mostly, we wanted to focus around the special attack and speed. So I was kind of thinking like natures. Obviously, we have things that could increase our speed and like decrease things like attack and whatnot. However, I decided to go with a modest nature because I kind of wanted the Sceptile to hit really hard. And this is always like a balance between, with your sweepers, do you want them to be a little bit faster or hit a little harder? And I kind of just thought like Sceptile is already super fast. Like I think it has like 120 base speed stat. I got the book out in front of me, but it doesn't say it. I kind of wish it did. I could look online, but and it's fast. So I was kind of thinking like, you know what? Like if we train the special attack, maybe make it hit a little harder. Like I would hate for this Pokemon to already be very fast, and like it's already gonna outspeed a lot of things anyway. Especially if we're EV training it in, or I guess. Yeah, IV and EV training it in speed. I'd rather do more damage when it connects because it's probably gonna, outspeed a lot of things anyway. And again, this is always like a trade-off between the attack and the speed, so it's kind of personal preference. But I was like, you know what, let's make Sceptile hit pretty hard. One of the things about Sceptile is it learns Crunch only from an egg move. So I had to figure that out first. One of the great things about Sceptile is it breeds with Tyranitar and Aggron, which I already have. We've been training those like the whole time. So this Pokemon actually was quite easy to at least transfer over the IVs to Sceptile because I already had a lot of Pokemon with good IVs. But the first thing I worried about was the egg move. So I had a Tyranitar with Crunch. It was a male Tyranitar with Crunch, and just bred that with a Sceptile. But before I even had a Sceptile, I had to bring it over from Fire Red, and I had a Trico Grovyle and Sceptile all in fire red. They were all males, but you need a female. So I had to breed it with Ditto for like a minute and get a female. So then we had the female Trico with the male Tyranitar with Crunch. So once we hatched the male Trico with Crunch, then I guess the EV training or the IV breeding process began. Let's see, we first put in a Ditto with perfect speed and the male Trico with the Crunch in the daycare. I was a little annoyed here because I have all these Arons and Larvatars that are male that have high IVs or perfect IVs, but I couldn't use them because we have to control the male and the female with this. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, is there a situation where, I guess, yeah, now I'm looking back, what I could have done is use those male Arons and Larvatars. Wait a minute, am I stupid? I think I'm actually dumb. Maybe I think I'm in the weeds too much and I got too like in my own ways, but I didn't need to use this male Trico with Crunch. I could have just, sorry, I'm having an internal debate with myself right now. It doesn't matter. I didn't need to use a male Trico with Crunch. I could have used any of the other Larvatars or Arons, assuming they have Crunch, but Aron can't have Crunch. And I think a Larvitar might be able to. Either way, it makes things a little bit difficult when you got to control the male and the female. And I didn't have any other male Pokemon with good IVs that also had Crunch. To make things a little bit simpler in my head, the thing that I planned to do was focus on the male first, and then worry about like the female after. So we had the male with Crunch. So I didn't even worry about like the nature or anything yet. I just wanted to, again, focus on anything that has to do with the male. It's kind of going back a few steps, right? In the daycare at this current stage in the game, I have a Ditto with the perfect speed stat and a male Trico with Crunch. And after like a few eggs, I somehow hatched a male Trico with perfect special attacking IVs. And I was very confused because I didn't understand how that happened, because I don't think any Pokemon at daycare even had special attack. I don't know if it was like random, but anyway, we ended up getting that. So I put the Trico in that was a male and had Crunch and now the special attacking IV. So then I took the Ditto out, and then I made a mistake here. I put a Ditto in there with like, I thought it said speed, but how I marked it originally, it actually was special defense. So I hatched a few eggs and they all had like perfect special defense IVs, and I was like, I think I messed up. So I went back and checked, and yeah, I put the wrong Ditto in. But anyway, after I did that mess up, I went back in my inventory and I realized I had a modest Ditto with perfect IV in speed. And I was like, this is perfect. I have everything I need. So after a little bit of, I guess, dumbness on my part, we ended up having the male Trico special attacking IVs with Crunch, breeding with a genderless Ditto with the Everstone, and it had modest nature and speed. So with that combination, I had everything that I kind of wanted breeding in the daycare. After a little while, we actually hatched a really decent, like, tanky Trico. It had calm nature, which I think it boosts special defense, I don't remember. But it also had perfect IVs in special defense. So I was like, that's kind of cool. Kind of getting back to what we discussed earlier in the video. Kind of maybe want to build a tanky one. So I put that in the box and renamed it, because if we end up going that tanky leech seeding route for Trico, that's going to be a good Pokemon to have. So after that one hatched, I made a note here and I said, like, I was probably actually, like, not exaggerating, playing the game for about 10 minutes, going back and forth, Route 17 to Maulville City, then to Route 18, going back and forth. And 0 eggs popped up in the daycare, like, for me to pick up from the old dude. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And I didn't know what to do. So I removed those Pokemon from the daycare. I flipped the order. I don't remember which was which, but I flipped them. And then after like a few minutes, they started hatching eggs again. So I don't know if the game got like bugged or was just super unlucky, but probably like 10 minutes going back and forth, 0 eggs. So I don't know if that happened to anybody else, but something I just noted. So after a little while, this actually didn't take too long compared to other breeding processes or Pokemon. We hatched a pretty good Trico. It had special attack, perfect IVs and special attack, and speed with the modest nature and crunch, important. So 2 of the Tricos ended up being worthy of me to IV check. One of them overall had higher IVs, like just in general. However, the speed wasn't perfect. It did have higher HP as well as defense. It was actually pretty strong. But the other Trico that we IV checked had perfect speed and special attack. The HP was a little low, and actually everything else was kind of pretty low. So kind of had a choice here. Do I want to, really focus on those 2 stats, or maybe get a little bit stronger, like slightly tankier one? And you guys probably know what I picked, but we're going for the 2 perfect stats because this thing, I want it to be fast. I want it to hit hard. If it gets hit, oh well, it's probably going to die anyway, but definitely wanted it to hit hard. So we ended up picking the one with the 2 perfect stats. We did some of the EV training in Emerald. I kind of wanted to switch it up a little bit. What is it, like Route 118 across from Wallville City? That's got some really good, that's a good speed EV training location. Then the special attack, I think I went up to, was it east of Fall Arbor Town? They got Spins and Slugma there. One thing too is I decided to go 255 speed, 255 attack. I know I'm wasting like 4 EVs technically in this spot, but I think when I was doing it, I think I messed up somewhere. Like it's just so easy to like mistally, like you're having a conversation with somebody, or like you get up for a second or take a sip of water and you're like, did I mark this already? Or, so I'm just like, So instead of doing it all and then maybe messing up some numbers later on, I was like, just do 255 for both stats and call it a day. Like I'm not too hurt, So I think just to simplify it for myself, 255 all around the board. The IVs that we actually ended up with, like this is after the fact, we had a 108 overall, which isn't like the best. It had 13 HP, 10 attack, 9 defense, 31 special attack, 14 special defense, and 31 speed. So yeah, the HP, HP, defense, and special defense, pretty low. If this thing gets hit anyway, again, it's probably going to get pretty injured. But it doesn't really matter. Also, what's kind of cool is the special attack and speed both have 339 like its overall stats, which is kind of cool. So I don't know, I feel like that's kind of cool. Like if you the nature plus the EVs and IVs, if they're perfect, then it like equals the speed. Kind of cool. But yeah, overall pretty happy with the Pokemon. So yeah, then I had to teach it Thunder Punch. You got to go to, it's like just south of the Battle Dome. They have that move tutor there, so that's how we got Thunder Punch. Obviously, Sceptile learns naturally Leaf Blade. Such a cool, unique move. I'm pretty sure it's actually specific to only Sceptile. And I guess I mean like the Sceptile line itself. Yeah, those are the only 2 Pokemon, Grovyle and Sceptile. You can only learn Leaf Blade. And it's a cool move. And then the last move, Dragon Claw, was just a TM. I had a couple left over from, I guess, previous playthroughs. So kind of going into like the Battlefront here, I mostly only used the Sceptile in the Battle Dome. I have been dabbling a little bit here and there in the tower, just because I feel like I need to get that gold. I need to start working on getting that gold medal. So trying to test it out a little bit, test out these other Pokemon we've been training. But in the Battle Dome, using the Sceptile on the team with Lapras and Steelix. Overall, in general, Sceptile is pretty strong. Again, it's so fast, it hits hard, and the move coverage, or the variety of different moves it has and covers is just overall very well for the Frontier. And again, specific to my team with the Steelix and Lapras, it covers all like a whole bunch of other things. And having that extra like information of knowing what you're going to be versing in the Dome, again, really helps kind of strategize going forward. I haven't noticed anything awful about Sceptile. I guess item is another important thing. I was thinking about Scope Lens you could run, which increases your crit. You could do Lumberry, which heals like confusion or some status infliction, and Focus Band, which it'll like sometimes make you live with 1 health. I opted to try out the Focus Band because of Sceptile's ability, which had to look it up again. It's Overgrow. When HP gets low, its grass type attacks are multiplied by 1.5. So if you're in some situation where your HP gets really low, the Focus Band procs or pops, then you're getting that additional 1.5 attack or special attack for your Leaf Blade plus your stab move. I think, you do a lot of damage. Also, now that I'm looking at it, it's kind of a good thing that I went with training the male or breeding the males first, because it's got an 87.5% chance of the baby being a male and 12.5% chance of a female. So it's probably, at least in that situation, makes most sense to focus on the male for the breeding first. Never really thought about that as something to consider. But getting back to the item, that's kind of my thought process there. And in like probably 2 hours at a minimum, 2 to 3 hours of actually playing the game, the Focus Band didn't pop once. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Am I just unlucky? But so I never really got to see the power of it. Like, probably, like, the Scope Lens seems like a good idea. But like, something tells me it's probably not. And I don't know why. Maybe that's just because out of anything, even like, the Focus Band and the Scope Lens are like, I feel like a probability based thing. And in the Battle Frontier, it doesn't even matter. Like, your probability of anything happening like in your favor is lower just because you exist in the Frontier. That's why things like Lumberries, like Leftovers, even like Shell Bell, like you're almost, or I guess Choice Band, you're guaranteed, like, your thing is gonna, I guess, be in effect. Whereas like the Focus Band, you just gotta get a little lucky, I guess. And the luck's never on your side, and at least it's not on my side for the Frontier. But for an item, that's kind of what I was considering. I do need more time though with Sceptile. The runs that I've been having, I feel like I get pretty far, but then I either make a dumb mistake or just something happens and it's like, whoa. So I think I'm convinced I could get a good run with Sceptile, Steelix, and Lapras in the Dome. It might take a few more iterations, but just attempts, I guess is a better word. But Sceptile is really cool. Even just like looking at its tail is pretty awesome. I feel like the sprite though of Sceptile, like from like the trainer's point of view, is kind of awkward. He just looks like, I don't know, to me it looks like a greasy, like, I don't even know what the word is, like a greasy like teenager, like a greasy alien teenager. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's what I think about when I see Sceptile from my point of view. Sceptile though, from like when I'm looking at the other trainers Pokemon, like the sprite of it, like battling one, that looks pretty cool. I did not figure out what the hidden power is. I gotta do this more often, but it's so easy to forget. And especially on this Pokemon, I do want to know obviously, but it's not gonna probably change. I'm not gonna use hidden power on this Pokemon. Like the move pool is already pretty crazy. I'm convinced though with Sceptile we can get pretty far. I am training some other Pokemon though. I have like Pokemon. I don't know if it's like ADD or I'm just like I want to train this Pokemon. I want to train that Pokemon. I have a list of like, what is this, like 15 Pokemon I want to train, and it keeps growing. I don't know how it's growing. Like I just trained like 4 Pokemon. We got Aggron, we got Sceptile, we got the mystery Pokemon. Ooh, just for next episode. And like I'm training all these Pokemon, but all I want to do is train more Pokemon. It's just fun. I don't know. And I mean, obviously, it's only I gotta try them all in the Frontier, like more. But it's like right now I'm in the mood where I'm just like I gotta train things, and I don't know why. But I'm just doing what feels right. So, yeah, right now I'm in the process of training another Pokemon. Once that is done, I'll see how I'm feeling. I think I want to train like at least one more. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to have to use it in the frontier because... And I feel like I'm just like... And I feel like I can't just make all these videos about like training Pokemon and then just talking about it and then we don't actually use them. Yeah, well, I'll get a few... Probably like... I'm thinking at least 5 more hours of Sceptile in the frontier. Maybe 10, depending on how good we do. I want to get a good run though. I think we get pretty high. I am also keeping track of... Where are we? Of the teams in the Battle Frontier. Oh yeah, that's a good thing to know, duh. Yeah, I'm trying to keep track now of like, okay, how good is this team with these Pokemon, with these moves doing? Or how far did I get? And with Choice Band, Steelix, Lapras, the beefy Lapras with the spit build and the Sceptile, we lost to Tucker. You'll definitely see the game somewhere in this video. And I don't remember exactly what happened to Tucker. I don't even think we brought in Sceptile. Actually, I have the video. What am I doing? Okay, I lied. I didn't actually record the video with Tucker. I don't know where I was, why I didn't do that. I must have been like sitting on the couch and I was like, I'm not going to get up for this. Sometimes it's just too comfortable. Like aha, I knew it. No, yes, okay. I'm so dumb. I already posted a video. The previous video has us live battling. Okay, and I started with Sceptile and went with yeah. Never mind. I take back everything I said. I don't even know how I'm going to edit this. I went Sceptile and Lapras, and we ended up getting destroyed. I made some bad... I don't think I made bad moves, bad decisions, but the decisions I made were just wrong, I guess. If that makes sense. Like, I thought I was predicting certain things, and I didn't. But, yeah, we lost to Tucker. We'll get it back eventually. We'll get there again eventually, and we'll do even better. Anyway, enough rambling. Stay tuned for some more videos. Already training other Pokemon, and I'm having a good time. So, yeah, check out some of the videos. We got a whole bunch more coming.